Hi, I'm Zach. I've been a software developer for the last 12 years, and I've also been running a marketing and development agency for the last 7, in which we've been able to generate over $13 million in revenue for our clients. Today, I'm going to be talking about pricing strategies and why you should probably stop discounting and maybe even raise your prices. So first, I'm just going to tell a short story of an experience that I had with a client. In this particular niche, their product was priced around, let's say, $9,000 per unit. I believed that compared to their competitors, this was too low and it was actually hurting their brand value. Now, if we think of the typical law of supply and demand, we believe that the lower the price, the more people can buy it. The higher the price, the less people can buy it. So typically, the higher you price something, the less sales you might make. It just has a curve to it, right, on a chart. But this does not really apply if the price itself implies value, which we know from price psychology that it absolutely does affect the way people perceive the product. Now, if it's priced too low, then it's going to affect your sales actually. It's not going to follow the typical price curve. Like I said, compared to their competitors, I believe that their product should be much higher, maybe even higher than their competitors. But we had disagreements. So instead, I proposed that we run a test. We run Facebook ads with their current pricing, 20% higher, 40% higher, 100% higher, just to see what happens, what type of interest or what type of response do we get at these different pricing levels, because they were afraid that if we were to increase the prices just across the board, then they would lose their sales, and they don't want to have that happen, of course. But what ended up happening in actuality? Well, 12,000 ended up performing slightly worse than their typical cost per lead. But I would argue it's still worth it, because now you have weeded out any of the potential people that were just tire kickers or just browsing or just trying to see the price. Whereas now you're getting people that already know this price is here, so they've already kind of accepted that pricing just by even clicking on the ad. Now, the 40% and the 100% higher, that was very interesting, because the 40% higher was actually cheaper than their normal cost per lead. And the 100% higher was even cheaper per lead. How on earth does that work, right? You double the price of something, but you get leads for cheaper for it? Well, it does make sense if we assume that the price was initially set too low, that it was actually hurting the perceived value of the product. See, this is why I just love experimenting, especially with paid ads, because you mitigate your risk by only showing it to a select few, but you do get reliable data because you're using your same targeting that you would use for your normal advertising. So I highly recommend trying something like this out, especially if you're not sure where your pricing should be in relation to your competitors. You don't want to assume that because your features are similar to your competitors that you should be at the same level, because the price itself could actually affect whether people perceive you as the premium or the luxury or the high-end version of the industry. Of course, if you price your product too high and then it does not meet expectations, then it's not going to work, and you're just going to have people feeling a little bit ripped off after they've bought it. But what about discounting? What does that do? Well, you do kind of give somebody a temporary satisfaction of them feeling like they got something out of it, like there was a compromise. But I would argue that in most scenarios, people just want to feel like they got a good deal. It doesn't have to be in the form of a discount. You might experience a much more positive reaction by instead giving a bonus, especially if you perhaps have things that the cost for you is very low, or is just another one of your products that has a similar profit margin. As long as it's not going to destroy your profit from the first one, it's actually better to give the discount in the form of a product. Like, let's say you could discount 10% off the product, or you could give them another product that will end up being around a total 10% discount. But I think that this is much better because you have not hurt the perceived brand value by cheapening the first product, but you're still giving them a positive experience by giving them something, and they now have an additional opportunity to like the quality of the products that your business offers. So I really think that that strategy works a lot better, unless of course it's just something that they don't care about. An additional benefit that I just remembered is actually that if you then offer them the bonus instead of the discount, and then they say, no, I don't care about that bonus, I'm not interested in that, then you say, oh, okay, then I can give you the discount. But now the conversation has shifted from are you going to buy or not to which offer do you want? Would you like the bonus or would you like the discount? And I think that's a cool like structural thing or framing thing that now you've changed the conversation to a different type of conversation, and hopefully a more positive one, and also keeping your brand status or perceived value at a high level. So I really like that, and so I try to apply it whenever I can or recommend it whenever I can. So I hope that you could try something like that out in your business when you have the chance. But anyways, that's all for today. I hope that helps. Thank you.